Hello everyone, and Gus and Caesar here again. And I wanted to talk more about how to get better and how do I know what I'm doing wrong. So, a little bit of a story kind of thing. When I first started the game, it was like 2011 to 2010. I think it was 2011. Like whatever DreamHack, the first DreamHack summer was. I started playing like a little before that, and then I was really motivated to get into ranked because after watching the games, because they told me, oh, season resets, get your feet wet, it resets your elo, so don't worry about elo. So I was like, all right, I try to get my feet wet, and I got an okay elo, and then the next season I really kind of tanked, and I went down to 1K, and it was a really tough time for me at the moment. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I was like, oh, everyone here is so stupid and everything. Like my mentality used to be like that, and then I really realized that I was wrong. Although I did just play kind of one champion and kind of like got 100 elo for it after a couple of games. But how do I know what I'm doing wrong? So a really big part of knowing what you're doing wrong and what you're doing correctly is replays. So I highly recommend you get a replay, like low replay. You go look up low replay, just download it and use it. And so whenever you play a ranked game, there's a certain point in time where I really want to gain more elo or learn more. And so I would watch every single ranked game I played, or if I performed well, I want to rewatch it, see what I did correctly, and so that next time I kind of put in my head, things just kind of click for me. When I see that I do something correctly, it kind of clicks in my head. I remember it instantaneously, like, oh, I I just 2v3 the other team, like, and somehow, and I want to know what I did that was so crazy that I managed to 2v3 them because I wasn't fed or anything. So it's basically kind of outplaying the other team. So if you outplay them, I want to know what I did to outplay them, and just like once you rewatch it, things just kind of click in your head. Like it's like puzzle pieces. Like oh, this like fits together, and so I understand it now. And so another thing I want to talk about is running before you walk. So a lot of people are, I see like on our summer school, people are saying, oh, how do I get better? How do I practice? So, for example, I used to really like playing Lee Sin, except everybody loves to ward jump on Lee Sin, except I thought my mechanics are freaking terrible. How do I ward jump? I'm not fast enough to ward jump. Like, I don't even want to bother trying, or because I'm afraid, like, I'll ward jump like a single Timo or something, and it'll just be embarrassing. But I, I got into this mentality, which kind of hurt me. It was trying to run before you walk. So for example, I would try to 2v3 people when I shouldn't be, try to challenge myself to outplay them, and eventually I saw results from all those attempts. I attempted to outplay people, at a certain point, I got used to it. I got used to the situation I was in enough so that I could outplay them. And so it's kind of challenging yourself, but it's also, you think of it as running before you walk. So for example, I tried ward jumping and I only got like single Timos of ward jump, so it was really pathetic looking. And it's kind of embarrassing when the people see it, but you kind of think about it. Everyone has to start somewhere, so don't be embarrassed. It's just like lifting, so for example, I had some friends that were kind of embarrassed that they could only lift the bar, or they only bench the bar. But what's to be there to be embarrassed about? Everybody's different. Everybody's different. So everybody has different levels. So if you can't do it as well, or you can't do as much as someone else, it just means you just put more time into it. Everyone's different. Don't be ashamed. So if your elo's low, or if your elo's low, don't be ashamed of it. Don't let other people make you feel bad for it. That's just where you are. And if you don't think you belong there, then you should really, really try to get better. Really, really put that effort in there. So really, another way to get better, I think that I worked for me is to challenge myself. And this wasn't in ranked games. I didn't try to 2v3 people, or like three v1 them in ranked games. I always did in normal games, and sometimes I threw the game, sometimes I didn't, and I managed to win anyway. But they're just normal games, like well, No one likes to throw the game, but if you really want to get better, sometimes you just have to challenge yourself. And so, you might trip up here and there, but eventually it'll be better for you in the long run. And I know it has been for me because recently I've felt that like my mechanics have gotten really solid. Like I'm keeping up with everything my opponent's doing. Like I'm checking their items, I'm checking their runes, and I'm trying to like put all these pieces together in my head, think about like what they're running and what I should do about it and about team comps and everything. So I feel like my mechanics have gotten pretty solid, but it does take a lot of time. And if you want to practice in the custom game, it doesn't hurt at all. But a really big thing that helped for me that because active practice, I believe, is the best practice. So if you practice ward jumping, yeah, anybody can ward jump in a custom game, but can you ward jump with three people chasing you and like they're pressuring you with their like stun cooldowns and their slows or like a blitzcrank grab? Can you do it? It kind of puts that kind of pressure on you. And so even if you practice in the custom games, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the same way when you enter a normal game or a ranked game. So I believe active practice is the best practice. And so what else is there? Let me check my notes. Basically, just stuff about getting better, really. And so do practice a lot. Do practice your mechanics in game. Do try to put things in your head to remember to do. For example, like if you buy Randuin's, try to remember to activate it. And eventually, if you put that in your head and eventually get into a fight, eventually you will remember. So there's things like that. And so I really do believe challenging yourself is a really good way to get better. And you're never gonna get better if you don't really just put your expectations up there. You just try to exceed your limits. If they always try to play within your limits, like, oh, I know I can't do this, I know I can't do that. But when you try something out, when you try something new, when you try something that you don't know or you're not sure with, that's when you have the potential to exceed your limits. And that's what really helped me get better at League of Legends. Alright, so that would be my third episode. So if you have any questions, if you have any topics you'd like me to go more into or want me to bring up, then leave a comment and let me know. Thanks.